Mike Bohn here with UFC middleweight contender Darren Till. Jack Hermansson, December 5th, I believe. Darren, are we set to go for this? How's the knee doing?
Yeah, say my knee's like 85, 90%, so I've just got to do a little bit more strengthening things on it, not push it too hard, and obviously sort of work the strategies to what I think Jack's going to come in and do. I think he's going to come in, and attack the neck, attack the legs, look for a quick sub, and so I've just got to be, physically and mentally prepared for that.
Yeah, it's a different kind of fight than you've had to go with before. Like, this is a guy, I think, as you mentioned, like maybe I'd assume his first priority would maybe be to go for the neck, go for the legs. Like you said, I don't think you've fought many guys who kind of had that for their number one game plan.
No, I think it's going to be a very strategic fight. I don't want to go in there though and play like like I've played in my last few fights, like sort of, waiting for them to miss and hitting with one shot. If I can defend well his attacks, I'm just going to be looking to really put combinations together and put them out early. That's what I'm going to be looking for. So, we'll see. Yeah.
What a cutie there. How's the dad life going with this one? I know last time we spoke, she was pretty young last time, I think, and it was like the beginning of quarantine kind of time.
It's okay. I think we're back in another lockdown. So, I'm just sort of, while I've been injured, I've been sort of, oh, you're falling there, babe. I've sort of been focusing more on like business wise. So, like, I've got obviously, my Darren Till store, looking at some potential sponsors, and obviously everyone knows about, the Raw Dog thing. So I've sort of stepped away from the gym a little bit because my coach said, Darren, while you're injured, I'm the type of guy that I'm all or nothing in the gym. I don't like to go half-assed. So he said, just take a few weeks back off the gym and, focus more on, wow, that's the maddest thing ever. Sweet Caroline's just come on the telly.
Oh, wow. It's fun to see.
Liverpool have just lost 7-2, so I'm gutted. But he said, focus more on business. So, that's what I've been doing, and business is booming.
I will say, when you turn the camera to the TV there, it's a lot more PG than the last time we did an interview, and there's some questions.
I remember that. And it's a different house now. That was an apartment last time.
Oh, so you moved?
Yeah, I moved, yeah.
Nice.
Bigger
upgrade, or what's the new pad like?
Sorry?
Is it a significant upgrade from the last spot?
Yeah, it's much bigger, but it needs a lot. It doesn't need a lot of work, but I want to sort of make it into, a nice, like, show home. I want to make it nice. I want to make it comfortable. So, we're getting a lot of work done, and just saving up. We're gonna just like sort of do it room by room, saving up our money, and we're gonna create a nice family home for the kids. More for the kids. I don't really care if, but it's more for the kids. So
yeah, that's great, man. And you mentioned, the other things you're doing, other businesses. You mentioned the Raw Dog line. Is this your patented line, or is Israel Adesanya trying to steal this from you?
He's trying to. He sees the money involved. He sees the business model, so he's trying to steal it. But no, it's mine. It's patented. I'm moving it. I'm just trying to move it as quickly as possible. I want to just get it in. It's not really a focus on a certain type of anything. It's just going to be anything and everything, and the main focus is just going to be to really smash it with him. However long I get out of it, I get. But now that I've announced today that we're doing a Raw Dog beer, the beer actually I've tasted is quite nice. So we'll see how far I go with that. The t-shirts, the hoodies. I think all the limited edition stuff I've been doing with it, because it's not there forever. People have really been excited to just go and grab it. So every time we've done a drop, we've really smashed it, and hopefully it keeps growing. We've done really well up to now, and as I said, I've really been focused on business. I've never really been on my Insta quite like active with business models and stuff like that, but lately I really have. So take pride in what's yours as well. So Raw Dog is mine, even though everyone wants to steal it.
You are the Raw Dog. I was going to ask about the beer. Like, what was the process in doing that? Is it like light beer, dark beer, a lager, an IPA? Like, have you?
Yeah, we mixed with a few IPA and lager and whatever, and we're going to come to the real conclusion like in a few weeks. I'm going down to the brewery in like 2 weeks, I think. But I think the main idea behind it was, as obviously everyone knows what Raw Dog, sort of means, and beer just goes well with that. You're with your girl, you're with your boys, and you're drinking some Raw Dog beer. it's only sensible to do some raw dogging after that. So, you know, it makes sense. A lot of people have been like asking, like the main request I get on like social media is like raw dog condoms, but that sort of defeats the purpose because that's like safe raw dogging. You know, we're going full bareback raw dogging. So, you know, I'm just keeping it fun and interesting, and everyone seems to be loving it. You know, you just seen that. You know, the middleweight champ, you know, Adesanya, he gave me some love, the brand. You know, he said it was his, and I've seen a few other fighters give a love. So I like that. I like the support. I try to give my support to other fighters when I see them. I seen that Bulby, you know, Muhammad. He released like his brand for like his game show, man. I didn't even say anything. I just went straight to Amazon to try and buy a hoodie, and they didn't ship to England. So he's like, Till, I'll send you one. You know, I think we should do that. Even if we hate each other as fighters or we're beefing or whatever, we should always support ourselves in the outside stuff like that because, you know, that's another path of, I don't know how to say it, like money, income and that. So we should all support each other on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys hate each other? I mean, what's the relationship with Izzy these days? Last time we spoke, it was like you dropping in his DMs screaming, but now it seems to be a little more peaceful.
No, I'm never gonna hate him. I'm never gonna hate most fighters. I'm sort of, I like to consider myself as smart enough to know that anything they say or do is, you know, it doesn't affect my. Get away from that food. The other one, you're getting the food. Trying to rob my food, but I like to think as myself as smart enough to know that anything they say or do doesn't really affect my feelings. I'm not really sensitive in that way, you know. I can make jokes out myself. I can make jokes out my family. And I seen a tweet the other day, and it was like, you know, what's the limit? What's not the limit? For me, I don't really see, you know, people talking about family or stuff like that. It doesn't affect me, but I can really see how it disrespects and affects other fighters. But I'm not one of them to just really hate someone because they've said something to me. You know, we're gonna fight. You know, whether they want to fight in the street or in the cage, it's more sensible in the cage. But I'm not going to hate on that person. I'm not going to hate on Izzy because he's doing well or because he's got this, because he's got that. Like, you know, I hate him for the fight. You know, if we're going to fight, yeah, I'll hate him for fighting. But as a person, as a human being, as what he's doing, you know, if you're a guy that's hating, you got some serious problems with yourself inside yourself.
No doubt.
I can't hate on anyone. I hate myself. What the fuck can I hate on anyone? I need to sort myself out first. I hate myself. I've done all my life.
I was gonna say you hate on yourself more than anyone. I just saw your tweet a few minutes ago saying, you know, the soccer match was worse than you getting put by Masvidal. So there's a lot of self-deprecation here with Darren Till.
You know what the worst thing about it is as well? This is something that does actually quite piss me off. So you got a guy like me, and you know, I'm making fun of myself of, you know, my only ever knockout and worst, and you know, for the world to see. And you know, for that, there's no real hate that can come my way because I've just hated on myself. I've just clearly said, yeah, I'm acknowledging the fact that I got knocked out. And then there's still people who like to comment like little snide remarks like, yeah, Till, you did get knocked out or some. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. Why are you trying to shovel more hate my way? Like, what's wrong with you in the head, man? You just... Some serious people on that Instagram and social media and Twitter with some serious problems, and they need locking up.
I was actually going to ask, like, how have you learned to deal with these people? Because you posted something about Paulo Costa after his loss, you know, saying one loss and people jump on you, all of a sudden you suck, when before you're the undefeated guy, you know, people are expecting you to be the next champion. But it seems like over your time, you've learned how to deal with that so well. I know you're doing like a Zoom call with some of your fans and followers later today. So, like, how kind of digested that, and what would be like your advice to someone who would maybe be like struggling with how to deal with like a public figure and how to deal with, you know, the online presence they have?
I don't know. This is how I look at it, right? So since Sean O'Malley got beat, yeah, I haven't heard his name once. Haven't heard journalists, haven't heard sites, haven't heard anyone speak about him. Now, before he lost, he was like the flavour of the month. Everyone was just speaking about O'Malley. So one loss, okay, yeah, he was cocky and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he disrespected Cheeto a lot, blah, blah. But no one's gone on about him just because one loss. Everyone's sort of, fuck him now. And it'll be the same with Kamzat, and it'll be the same with Adesanya. And not with Adesanya because he's the champ. And it's been the same with Costa, and it was the same with me. And you know what? For them other people's, I don't know, but I'm still only 27, and I know how much growing and learning I've got to do. And it only fuels me just to know what's going to come in the future. Like, I just know how good I can be and how good I'm going to be. And anyone can sit here watching this now or later, till whatever. But I know how good I am and how good I can be. Like, I just look back at my last fight and I know I lost. But I know that I didn't even give my all. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but I know when I do, reach my full potential, these guys ain't going to stand with me. Obviously in other areas, I feel like I've got to develop. But at this moment in time, I feel like I've just got the tools inside me to be the best striker and one of the best in the UFC. But, you need to recognise, realise, and obviously work. I seen someone say the other day, and I wrote this down, and I'm going to say it here first, is I seen someone say, yeah, actions speak louder than words. And I sat back and thought for a minute, and I thought, I disagree. Because if you get a guy, let's say, like Conor McGregor, look at how much talking he did, and then he backed it up. But can you imagine if he didn't do all that talking, getting into the opponent's heads? Let's say, for example, Jose Aldo. Would the match between them two have gone any different? So sometimes talking, that's all you need to do. Like Conor said that much to Aldo that he just got that much in Aldo's head. Obviously, his performance was so unbelievable, but the talking played a part. So I don't agree with actions speak louder than words. Sometimes all you need to do is just talk. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, and do you think a lot of the times, especially like where I guess it's your opponent and online, it's just what you make of it in your head too, right? Like if you're able to be like yourself and kind of make fun of yourself or just kind of go along with the ride, it's not going to affect you as much as if you kind of let these people get inside your mind and be like, oh, they say I suck. Like maybe you let a little bit of those doubts creep in, and the truth becomes whatever you make it in your mind.
I think you should listen to the haters and the trolls in both ways. I think you should listen to them to let them fuel you. And sometimes I've seen like trolls and haters say some valid things, even about myself. And I'm like, he's actually quite right. I need to do that. I need to work on that. Write it down in my notes, blah, blah. So, my advice to anyone, listen, I ain't no champion yet, but I'm at that level. Listen, I'm not at no other level than the highest level possible in MMA. Like, I'm there. I'm on the cusp of it. And my advice is take all advice, even from the haters. Take everything in. Take the hate in, take the advice in, bask in it. You know what I mean? Like, don't get riled by it and don't let it affect you mentally and physically. Whereas it can, it has done to me. But nowadays, my whole life, I've never give a fuck. Anyone who's around me will always say, just Till just really does what he wants and he doesn't give a fuck. But even more now, so in like life and in fighting life general, I just couldn't give a fuck. Like, do you know what I mean? And my advice is just take it all in. Just bask in the hate, bask in the negativity of comments, bask in the positivity, bask in everything. Why should you only bask in the positive? Bask in the negative as well. So, that's just me. People and fighters could disagree, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree as well. And I want to go back to something you just said there about, trying to put it all together and have that best
My
performance.
little girl's sitting up.
She's very into it right now.
Gorgeous girl. She's watching the shite on the telly. We got beat. Yeah.
But I was gonna say, you mentioned wanting to like put it all together and have that performance where you kind of show it all. It reminds me of kind of what Holly Holm was saying after her fight on Saturday. She's like, "There's been so many fights where I really wanted to mix up, the striking, the grappling, doing all these things, and like, although that was a really good performance she had on Saturday, she's like, it's still not my absolute best. And I know as fighters, you guys are always striving to be better and get that perfection, which may never even be reachable. But what do you think you have to do compared to any fights you've had so far, whether it's against Jack or the next one, to really get that performance that you're seeking?
Yeah, I can't sit here and say like I need to train hard or I need to do this or that because I've done all that for the Rob fight. I was so trained so hard and focused so much. I think sometimes it's not while you're in camp, when you're out of camp, what you're working on and what are you doing to better yourself inside the gym. Like everything outside the gym, okay, yeah, you need to like do things in your life that obviously will impact your performance in the gym and in the cage. But it all comes down to what you do in the gym. It all comes down like all the running, all the strength and conditioning. Yeah, that's all great, good and well. But it comes down to what you actually do. What's got to do with MMA, if you get what I'm saying. So everything that's based around the ground, the wrestling, the grappling, the striking. They're the parts, because this is what we are in the sport of mixed martial arts. I'm not in the sport of running. Running gets my cardio good. I can do that 8 weeks before a fight. Great, sound, all right. And I like to run anytime anyway. It's what I'm doing in mixed martial arts. So whether it be grappling, jiu-jitsu, whatever, that's where I think it's really going to impact our performances as fighters. And that's where I think, obviously, the best, that's why they're the best, because that's all they do, and drill and whatever, and they're obsessed with it. So, take note. I need to take note. Fighters watching this need to take note. Let's all take notes.
Yeah. On a scale from 1 to 10, how impressed were you with Izzy's performance against Costa?
12.
12.
Just unbelievable. I know when the time comes, I'm going to beat Israel Adesanya, and invite the hate, but cannot take nothing away from that performance. Just an utter masterclass, utter confidence. I can take inspiration from it, even though we're rivals. To be able to do that, I feel like shows a level of maturity, and I can do that, and whatever. And Costa just needs to come back now. Just whatever he needs to do. But it was an utter masterclass.
Yeah, it was pretty unbelievable. And it seems like, after the fact, he's talking about the lay of the land. He called out Jared Cannonier because he thinks he's going to be Whitaker. But he said if Whitaker wins, potentially you or Jack could be that person. I know you tweeted out saying, I could be right there with one more win. Do you kind of brooding for, Whitaker to beat Cannonier? Because even though, you had the fight with Rob, it seems like that could open up more opportunity for you.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not looking at any of that. I'm just looking at Jack.
Yeah.
Like, me and Adesanya, me and Whitaker will probably run it back. And this time I'll staunch him in the first round. I won't let that elbow go slipping this time. But, I'm just focusing on Jack. I must ride it out. I'm 27. I know I've got time on my hands. I know what I need to do. I'm just going to let it all ride out. I'm just focusing on Jack.
Yeah, has Jack been, obviously, like, you were a welterweight for a while, but do you guys have any sort of like past relationship, kind of being on the European circuit? Have you had any interactions or anything like that over the years?
My career started in Brazil. My professional career in 2013 in February. 2013 started in Brazil, and then until then it was all Brazil. Then one fight in 2015 in Dublin. Then I came back. Fought in Sweden, fought in Rotterdam, fought in Poland, fought in Liverpool, fought in Texas. Then I fought in London. Then I fought in New York, Madison Square. Then I was the main event in Abu Dhabi. That's my career. I've had no interactions with any of the English fighters on any circuit in England, because I had 3 amateur fights in England and then just went off. So a lot of people like to say about the come up the hard way. I feel like I did come up the hard way.
Yeah, absolutely. And are you looking forward to getting back to Vegas for that fight and doing it in the Apex and all that stuff?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not bothered about fans or no fans or anything. I'm just looking forward to grinding back in the gym hard and just fighting. I just want to fight. I like fighting. I really do like fighting.
Yeah. When are you going to go all in on the training? I know you said you're like 80, 85% on the knee and you've taken a lot of time away. When does it get, really heavy again?
I think right about now, but I just need to obviously train more smarter. Obviously not just, I don't need to drill myself into the ground and maybe cause worse injuries or more injuries or whatever. I need to just train really smart. So if there's a day, a night or a morning I feel tired, maybe have that morning off to go and recover or some shit like that. I think as you get older, you start to train smarter. So I think that's all I'm going to do for this fight, is just train smart.
That's great. And is it going to be all the same, people as usual, or do you bring in anyone special to help you prepare for Japan?
I'm bringing in like some guys from Brazil and a few wrestlers, tough wrestlers around my weight. So we'll see how it goes with them. I'm not looking forward to it, but you've got to come out your comfort zone, especially for fights like this, Jack. Jack's very dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to go back, who do you think wins that Cannonier and Whitaker fight, though? I know you're not really too worried about anything about yourself, but if you could make sure.
I think Whitaker. I think Whitaker will win. I really do. I think Whitaker's better than Cannonier.
Yeah, it's interesting. Izzy said he thinks Cannonier's going to destroy Whitaker, which is pretty bold.
Me and Izzy don't agree on anything. He's even trying to take Raw Dog from me. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, well, I'll let you go on that, actually. I mean, I think we might have Izzy on here later this week. So any message, whether it's courteous or loud, that you want me to relay?
Fuck Israel Adesanya!
All right, awesome. Thanks for the time, and keep killing it with the Raw Dog stuff. We will talk very soon.
Thanks for having me on. See you later.
Have a good one.